All right, let's get right into this one, because the title alone sounds like some kind of ancient riddle, doesn't it? The Millionaire and the Dead Rat. It's a story that, on the surface, sounds absolutely impossible. But I promise you, it holds one of the most powerful business lessons you'll ever come across. So, how in the world does a dead rodent become the seed for a massive fortune? Let's find out.
And this is where it all starts, with this young boy, a very wealthy merchant, and probably the strangest business loan in all of history, a single dead rat. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a baffling place to begin a success story, but trust me, the absolute genius behind this is going to become crystal clear.
Now, to really appreciate how high our hero climbed, we first have to understand just how deep the hole he started in was. His story kicks off in the ancient city of Ujjain, and he's living under the shadow of a pretty terrible family legacy.
And here you can see the night and day difference. On one side, you've got the father, Mudimanikyam, basically a vagabond who completely abandoned his family and left them with nothing but misery. But on the other side, you have the son, Raju. And despite all that, he grew up to be responsible, smart, and incredibly resourceful. He was just determined not to be anything like his dad.
So by the time he's just 10 years old, things are dire. Any little bit of money his mother and grandmother had saved up, it's gone. They're completely broke. And it's at this rock-bottom moment that his grandmother sends him on a mission that is gonna change everything. Go find this well-known, generous merchant and ask for a loan.
And this right here is the moment the whole story pivots. See, Raju isn't just about to ask for money. He's about to get a lesson in what value actually is. And it's a lesson worth more than any currency.
Just try to picture this. You've got this 10-year-old kid standing in front of the rich merchant Yakshadatta. He doesn't make up some big, fancy story. He's just honest. He lays it all out. His family's tough situation, the merchant's reputation for being a good guy, and then he makes a simple, powerful promise. I will pay you back.
And Yakshadatta's response is just brilliant. Instead of handing over some coins, he just points to a dead rat on the ground and says, "There, that's your capital." The key here is his philosophy. For a smart person, this rat could be worth millions, but for a fool, millions would be worthless anyway. This wasn't a loan, you see. It was a test of perspective.
Now, pretty much anyone else would have just walked away, probably feeling insulted, but not Raju. He saw an opportunity where everyone else saw garbage. And this is exactly how that one dead rat became the cornerstone of an entire empire.
This right here is just pure entrepreneurial hustle. I mean, look at this chain of events. He doesn't just get rid of the rat. He finds a specific buyer with a specific problem, a merchant whose cat needs something to hunt. Then, with his first tiny profit, he doesn't eat it. He turns it into a service, giving snacks and water to tired workers. In return, he gets paid in firewood, which he then sells for actual money. And here's the crucial final step. He saves half and reinvests the other half to do it all over again. Incredible.
Okay, so this is where all that hard work and preparation meets a huge stroke of luck. By just repeating his process over and over, Raju had quietly built up a massive stockpile of firewood. And then the rains came. For 10 straight days it poured. Nobody could gather dry wood, and suddenly there was a massive shortage in the city.
And the result of his foresight, he sold his entire stockpile right when demand was through the roof. His initial investment, that single dead rat, had now exploded into 100 gold coins. You can't even calculate that return on investment. It's practically infinite.
And Raju didn't just stop there and call it a day. Oh no, he took those 100 gold coins, opened a proper firewood stall, and then used those profits to diversify. He went from timber to cloth to grain, and finally all the way up to diamonds. In just a couple of years, he'd built a trading empire from literally nothing.
But the story doesn't just end with him getting rich. Honestly, the most important part is what he decides to do next. He never forgot the man, or the very strange loan that started it all.
So 2 years after that first meeting, Raju shows up at Yakshadatta's house with this huge grand procession. You can imagine the merchant looking out his window, totally confused by all the commotion, wondering who this successful young man is and what on earth he wants.
And this is what Raju presented to him. It wasn't a bag of coins. It was something so much more meaningful. A solid gold rat, decked out with rubies for eyes, sapphires for ears, and a diamond chain. It was the perfect, over-the-top symbol of the humble capital that had launched his entire career.
And with these words, Ratnaka officially repays his debt. He gives all the credit to Yakshadatta, saying it was the merchant's wisdom, his grace, that made everything possible. It's just this incredible moment of humility and deep, genuine gratitude.
Yakshadatta was, as you can imagine, completely blown away. He wasn't just impressed by the wealth, but by Ratnaka's character, his intelligence, and his gratitude. And that, right there, brings us to the core lesson of this entire fantastic story.
So what do we take away from all this? Well, first, that real capital isn't money. It's your perspective. It's the ability to see an opportunity where other people just see trash. Second, start small but think big. The smallest, most insignificant thing can launch the biggest dream. Third, always look for ways to create a value chain. Turn a simple thing into a valuable service. And finally, gratitude is itself an asset. Honoring the people who gave you a shot, that's the mark of true success.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. We all have them, right? Little things in our lives, a small skill we have, an idea we forgot about, a minor connection we never used, that we just dismiss as worthless. So I'll leave you with this. What's the dead rat of opportunity that you've been stepping over?